Greetings, R. Frederick Riddle here with another episode of Christian News and Views. This is episode 207, and this is Tuesday. And today, this is going to be my day for ranting. You'll understand in a moment. It's more about my rant than it is about news. It's based on the news that I see in the local paper. So, just to give you an idea of what I'm looking at here, here's this one right here, right about there. And if we can read the whole thing, it is under his presidency, Trump has created a police state. And it's right out of the heart of Chicago, which, by the way, they could probably use a little police state there. But the thing is that um, it, it's fake news. They talk about polls, and I think I might get into that in a minute. But generally speaking, you can make a poll, say anything you want to, ask the right questions in the wrong way, uh, then find the one people who you want to poll, who might lean your way to begin with, things like this. Now I say, follow a money trail, but that's usually quite hidden anymore, hard to do. But when you look at the results, you kind of get the idea. They're not really based on facts or really based on true polls. So in today's paper, I read different things. In one article, there's what Israel is doing is only harming Jewish people. This is an article or a letter again from actually from Chicago. Seems to be a Chicago day here. But this person claims to be a Jew, probably is. Uh, and he's calling what is happening in Israel and Gaza genocide, being that the Jews are committing genocide against the Arabs. And I don't know if he did any investigation or not. He doesn't sound like he did very much. He's blaming the Jews for the food not getting into the Arab people there in Gaza. Now, that's true that Israel has actually been bombing them at times and so forth. They have clamped down. They're trying to get rid of Hamas. And the people who live there, whether they're doing it out of fear or they agree with Hamas, are generally speaking part of the problem. But that's not why they're not getting the food. There's food getting in there into Gaza Strip. The problem isn't with the getting in; it's what happens to it once it gets in. It does not get to the people it was meant for, whether it's food, clothing, money, or whatever it happens to be. It disappears. I believe that the Arab rulers that are still managing to have control, they're the ones who are controlling the whole matter there. And so it's just not getting to the people. Now, there may be some things that they're sending through that the Israelis are not letting through. But this is minor compared to what, once it does get through, what is happening to it. So that's one article. In the same paper, actually on the same page, appears an article in opposition to bear hunting. It's called Floridians Hate Idea of Black Bear Massacres. Again, they're using polls. Polls can be used for a variety of things. They didn't ask me. I'm not a hunter to begin with. But they didn't ask my opinion, and they probably didn't ask yours. They're very selective in who they poll. And so, but this whole article is talking about these poor bears and they're being hunted. Well, I don't claim to be an environmentalist. I have known people who are, um, uh, they are hunters. Some of them have been hunters. Some of them have worked in different states. When I was up in Michigan, where I'm from, I I knew I knew one person, sort of not directly but indirectly, but I knew what he was saying, and that hunting uh, under government regulations and so forth is meant to keep them from starving, not cause them to starve. There's only a limited amount of food that animals up there wasn't bear so much. I believe it was deer, and so the deer survived because they had food to eat that was plentiful enough for them. But if they hadn't hunted them, there would have been far more deer, and they would have been eventually starved to death. So there's arguments on both sides of that statement. But generally speaking, I think that the ones who are saying that it's actually helps the bear population better than it hurts it are the ones that are correct. But we tend to forget that bears or any animals are there not because they are such special creatures. They're there for two reasons. One, they do contribute to our environment and stuff like that. They're important in that sense. They're also an important source of food. Now, I've never actually met a person like this, but I have heard of people like this who oppose hunting bears or hunting deer or any kind of hunting. What they do, their answer to, if you want to have meat, go to the store and buy it. If you want to have fish, go to the store and buy some. If you want this, go to the store. I think they missed something there, folks. How did they get to the store? Somebody went out and killed whatever it was, processed it, and it got to the store and then to your table. They're forgetting that there is a hunting, that no matter how you do it, there's still being a death taking place, animal death. And they are there to provide a method for us to eat and to survive. They are animals. We are not animals. Excuse me. We are not animals. We are human beings created in the image of God. And so God provided them for us. One is for food and for clothing. Before we ever had, now most of our clothing is made from like cotton and leather and things of this nature. Well, even leather comes from animals. But there a lot of the clothing that was worn in ages past came directly from animals. Now we have, like I said, cotton and nylon and other things that come from something that lived and had to die, or give off um, some of the things that we have that we use are products of plant food or plants or trees or something of that nature. All is there is for our provision. God created us. He has a use for us. He has a plan for us. And the animals and the plant life and all that are there for our benefit, whether it be the environment or food or clothing. And so they got to keep some balance there. These people kind of shift over to animal. You've heard of them called tree lovers. They've literally here in Florida, we have laws that protect animals, and the fact that it may impact negatively on the rights of human beings doesn't seem to matter. So it's just, and that's Florida is not the only state that does that, but that's where I live, so I'm been aware of it. So yeah, the liberals have a case for what they're saying, but they get carried away with it, and their solutions put the onus on the human population. And like I said, there's this constant references to polls. We all know that polls can be and are manipulated. But probably the thing that irks me the most is the anti-Trump syndrome. Now, I didn't come up with that term. I think somebody else did. But the left has really embraced it. And they have article in the same paper called, and I'm going to show this to you because I want you to see it. I mean, I think I showed it to you at the very beginning. Under his president, Trump has created a police state. That is so wrong. Yes, he has used the Constitution and he's used it to go in and enforce the law. Why? Because there's governors out there who don't believe in the Constitution. They think that they're better, they're wiser, and that their state has a supreme command, so to speak. And so we fought a civil war over states' rights, and the federal government won that. We call it the Civil War, and it was more than had more to do with that actually than with the freedom of Black people. Yes, that was definitely an issue. And when President Lincoln issued his proclamation freeing them, it probably was at least a part of the turning point in that war. But that was more of a political move than it was the actual cause of the battle. The battle was states' rights, which had been going on since the country was founded. Different states thought that they were superior to the federal state. Even George Washington had to settle that during his presidency. So the thing is that the Constitution is our supreme document that we go by here. Those of us who are Christians, we put the Bible even above the Constitution. But the Constitution is based largely upon the Bible, even though the Bible is never mentioned. So President Trump has taken the constitutional powers that he has and he's using them. He's not the first president to do that, and he probably won't be the last. But the thing is that you have people who oppose him, who don't like him, who hate him, and they will do anything they can to put him in a bad light. Hardly a day goes by, but some misguided soul accuses him of an atrocity that has not happened, or twists the facts to make him not look good, make him look guilty. And they have their favorite little phrases and stuff like that. So you might say, oh, then why don't you complain about it? Well, I once did. I took my computer, sat down, and I wrote a letter. Being an author, I thought I did a fairly decent job. And I followed the guidelines. The paper has a guideline. You're only allowed to have so many words. And I followed it. But and I wrote a letter in response to one such misguided person. My letter never showed up in the paper. Yet that person that I was responding to had exceeded the wording, their own requirements, and I've seen others who have also exceeded the limitations that they put out there. So that couldn't have been the reason why mine didn't get there because I obeyed. Yet they might have. You just never know. Now that person had written and stated things that simply were not true. And some of the stuff in here, there's falsehoods. And there, like I said, the letter exceeded the mandatory limits. I went through point by point of that letter and refuted them with facts, but it never got published. Now, every once in a while, I will see a letter by a conservative. Most of the time, they are well thought out, but occasionally there's one that's not as well thought out as they should be. Maybe they're further to the right than me, or I don't know, but it's not as well thought out as it should have been. But that's rare to even see a conservative letter there. It just is. Generally speaking, if there's a conservative letter in the paper. There probably 3 or 4 or more that are not. Now, the Trump syndrome continues on to this very day. It's not new. It's still going on. It doesn't matter to the writers if what they write is true or not, as long as it supports their view. Sort of like AI. If they can't find something to throw out there, then they'll either make it up or twist facts to suit their view. Now, that's my view, folks. I'm ranting. I wish I could say that papers were more balanced than they are, but I don't see it. Now, there was a time I felt they were, where you could see conservative and liberals, and it might vary as to who had more weight as far as number of letters and so forth, but there was some sense of equality. So don't get me wrong. Everyone has a right to their opinion, but I wish they would stick with real facts and not just with the Democrat. Excuse me, the Democrats say, wow, can't get that rid of. Got a frog in my throat that just won't go away. So anyhow, I hope you've enjoyed this. Feel free to rant yourself if you want. Just keep it civil. You're free to agree or disagree. The comments there are for your use. Or you can contact me through email, and even send me an email. Again, keep it civil. I will not respond to those who are not civil. They'll get that letter or comment will be out of here. So if you haven't subscribed yet, I hope you do. If you enjoy this, I hope you do subscribe to it. Doesn't cost you anything or anything. It just guarantees you have access to my videos on a regular, consistent basis, and you encourage me. I try every episode to inform you, encourage you, and inspire you. Whether I succeed in that or not is totally up to you. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this time, and I'll see you in the next episode.